Hi everyone, I'm Cassie and I am back with you this time to talk with you about the book and the movie, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. I'm going to give you a few details about each, the book and the movie, and then I'm also going to discuss the similarities and differences, and then I'm going to let you know which one I think was better. I also have a really good interview for you guys today to get their opinion on the book and the movie as well. So let's get started with some facts about the book. The Boy in the Striped Pajamas was published in 2006 by author John Boyne. The book was an instant success, and by March of 2010, more than 5 million copies of this book was sold worldwide. This book was also a #1 bestseller on the New York Times book list. The author, John Boyne, dedicated 10 years of his life to doing research on the Holocaust so that he could write this book. And it shows throughout his writings, you see a good in-depth appearance to what it was possibly like to have been on either side of the Holocaust. The movie was released very shortly after in 2008. The movie actually drew a lot of criticism. A lot of people said that it lacked in historical detail of the Holocaust, and it was not quite as popular beginning out as the book was. An interesting fact is this is a British American film, so all of the actors and actresses have British accents, which I thought was interesting considering this is based on the Holocaust and this was not based in England. So it's a little odd seeing the story of the Holocaust through actors and actresses that have British accents. So some similarities between the book and the movie. Both follow the plot line extremely well. It's about a little boy named Bruno who moves because his father is a commander in Hitler's army and he becomes the overseer of a Jewish camp. And so they move to this camp and they begin life there. And Bruno travels to the fence of the camp where he meets a little Jewish boy named Shmuel. And through their naivety and innocence, they become great friends. And both the book and the movie portray that very well. One thing I really liked about both the book and the movie is the portrayal of Bruno. Bruno has very extreme naivety about what's going on. He doesn't fully understand what's going on. He's not completely aware of what's happening most of the time. For example, at the very end, he's not aware of exactly what's going on when they're rounding up all the Jews and putting them in the gas chamber. He's completely oblivious to exactly what's happening, and it shows that in the book too. He thinks that they're just going inside a building to get out of the rain, but he ends up dying. And you just see that sweetness, that naivety through both the book and the movie, and I really liked that it was in both. The development and portrayal of Gretel, Bruno's older sister, is the same. You see her starting out more childish. You see her, she has this love of dolls, and she has many baby dolls that she takes with her and puts on shelves on her wall and plays with. And you see her development as a character. You see her becoming more serious. You see her trying to learn and keep up with the news and her schoolings. And there's a scene both in the book and the movie where Bruno finds all of her dolls having chunked into the basement. She gets rid of them. She says she's too old to play with them anymore. So the portrayal of Gretel was the same in both the book and the movie. One detail that I thought was really nice that they kept is at the death scene of Bruno and Shmuel. In the book, they were holding hands because to show their friendship, and in the movie, it had that scene at the end right before they died where they were holding hands as well. And I really liked that they put that in there. It showed that bond of friendship, even though Bruno was a relative of a commander of Adolf Hitler's, and Shmuel was a Jewish boy that was thrown into a camp. So whereas there were a lot of similarities, there were quite a few differences as well. One difference that I recognized very shortly after the movie began was the portrayal of all the side characters. In the book, you see everything from Bruno's perspective. You see his thoughts, what he thinks on everything. You see nothing but his naivety. In the movie, they give the side characters, such as the mother, the father, they give them more depth, more feeling, a bigger part than what they played in the book. You see the mother doesn't fully understand exactly why they're moving and what's happening. You see her concern over them moving instead of the blind obedience that she originally showed in the book. You see the father talking to his children and taking up for his decisions for his wife. You see that ending scene and all the emotion that they showed. Whereas in the book, all you saw, Bruno was the main character, and all you saw was what he was feeling and what he saw through his eyes. One thing I did notice that was different is in the book, Hitler is mentioned quite a few times, and Bruno even gets to meet him before they move to the camp. In the movie, Hitler, I don't believe, is mentioned whatsoever. Bruno does not get the opportunity to meet him. So Hitler was, although he did not play a large character in the book, he was completely left out in the movie. In the book, the children, Bruno and Gretel, end up developing lice, and Bruno has to have his head shaved because of the lice. This was also one of the things that helped him to fit in when he snuck into the Jewish camp to help Shmuel find his father. In the movie, this did not happen. This scene was not present whatsoever. And I really think it would have been a good idea to include it because this was one of the things that he mentioned to help him make him look more like Shmuel, make him more fit into all the Jews at the camp. The ending for both the book and the movie are somewhat different. They both have the same basis. Bruno sneaks into the Jewish camp. Him and Shmuel get rounded up by the German officers, and they end up dying in a gas chamber. The book, of course, showed it through Bruno's eyes, and he didn't fully understand what was going on, so you really didn't see that panicky side. As a reader, you knew what was happening, but it made it all the more heartbreaking because Bruno didn't understand what was going on, although you knew what was going to happen. Another thing about the book is the family did not know for a while exactly what happened to Bruno. They only knew that he disappeared. It was not until quite a bit later that the father found his clothes outside the Jewish camp, and it finally dawned on him exactly what happened. In the movie, it's a lot different. It's turned into a more dramatic scene. They immediately know what happened to Bruno. They go and look for him. The father's searching through the camp to find Bruno, only to end up being too late. The family is mourning at the end of the film, and they immediately know what happens to Bruno and that he died. Whereas in the book, there was that period of where they were completely oblivious to what happened, and it took them a while to figure out exactly what happened to Bruno. All right, so now that I've told you some similarities and differences about the book and the movie, I have a very good interview for you guys, and I hope you enjoy her opinion. Alright everybody, so today I have Cindy with me that is going to interview for the book and the movie, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Thank you for agreeing to do an interview with me.
You're very welcome.
I'm just going to ask you a few questions about the book and the movie, and I just want to get your honest opinion.
Okay.
Alright, so for your first question, which do you think portrayed the relationship better between Bruno and Shmuel, the book or the movie, and why?
I would say the book, because the book went more in depth with the relationship between the two boys, and I like the way that it was through a child's eyes. Bruno was very clueless as to what was going on around him in his life.
Okay, so for your second question, do you think the development of the side characters, such as the mother and the father, took away from the novel story in the movie, or do you think it made it better?
I don't think it took away from the characters at all. The way the movie was set up, I think that it made it more interesting to have the side characters there.
Which one do you think had a more impactful ending? They both ended the same, but they also ended a little bit differently as well. Which one did you like better?
I would have to say the movie, only because the movie, you knew what happened to Bruno pretty much immediately, where in the book it stretched it out for a while before they really come to realize what happened to him. It pulled at my heartstrings a little bit more in the movie.
Well, which one did you like better? Did you like the book better, or did you like the movie better?
As a whole, I like the book better. Way more detailed, of course, than the movie.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your interview. I appreciate all of your time.
You're welcome.
All right, so now you've heard what I think about the book and the movie. You've heard what my interview Cindy thinks about the book and the movie. So now I'm going to tell you which one that I think was better. Although I think the book and the movie were both magnificent, they were great pieces of work, I do have to say if I had to pick one, I would pick the book. The book had so much more in it that the movie did not. It showed to me a lot more emotion. I had a bigger reaction reading the book, reading it through Bruno's eyes rather than watching it in the movie. I hope everybody goes and reads it. It was a #1 hit for a reason. It was excellent. If you've read the book and you haven't watched the movie, please watch the movie as well. But if you haven't read the book, definitely give it a try. So have you guys read the book or watched the movie? What did you think of each? And I will see you guys next time when we will be talking about the book and the movie Forrest Gump.